Here's a bite about fishing small bodies of water. Anytime you fish in these type areas, what you want to look for is like a point that extends out into the lake, which gives the bass an option of having both shallow and deep water within a close proximity to each other. Say a pocket that's shallow where the bass can dart up into, or maybe where a little creek or a branch or ditch that enters a pond, especially near a drainage area where fresh water is flowing in, or perhaps where the water is draining out, creating a current. And of course, any type of an object in the pond, such as a stump, say a log, a treetop, brush, vegetation. These are always great little areas for 1, 2, or 3 bass to bunch up in. And one other overlooked place you sure don't want to pass up is a shady area caused by a tree or other objects that cast a shadow out on the water. Bass use these shady spots just like other objects in the lake. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, pretty one. Where are you going there, man? A pretty thing. Just go around in circles. It's a good way to get it started. It's often said the more time you put into a project, the better it will normally be, but only if that time is productive time. By this token, it also stands to reason the more productive water you can fish in a day, the better the odds will be in your favor, and the more chances the fish will have of seeing your offering, and the odds are much better that you'll catch more fish. Naturally, all this depends greatly on the location you choose, the depth you fish, as well as the lure, color, and presentation you use. Sounds like a lot of work, doesn't it? Well, to be totally honest, it is, but it's enjoyable work. There we go. Ooh. Coming right out. Look at here, man. Oh, yeah. Pretty fish. Come on back. Look at that big chunky thing. Come on, baby. I know you're trying to throw that. I know you're trying to throw that thing. Look at that. Woo! Fat, fat, fat. Know what you've been feeding on? Shad. See ya. Today we've already completed our homework. We're catching bass in a depth of 1 to 4 feet, close to deeper water. And the best presentation that we found is a slow, steady retrieve. Ooh. Where are you going? Where are you going, buddy? Another fat pudgy. Little pudjo. Come in, sweetie. Whew. Those are nice chunks. Whatever a chunk is. It is getting warm. Or warm. A pond is fished just like any other bass water. You got to strive to determine pattern depth and then establish a pattern. 2 good places to find the correct depth are on sloping points that slope into deeper water and along channel ledges, as you would do on larger impoundments. The point to keep in mind is that the smaller pond is the same as a large lake, with the exception that there's less area to fish, and that a bass doesn't change its lifestyle just because it's in a farm pond. Their lifestyle is tailored to the type of water and the amount of cover. Tell you what, let's look at a typical farm pond with a considerable amount of structure. Now, the water you fish may have more or less, but let's use this illustration as an example to discuss how we would fish this particular body of water from early summer to mid-fall. Normally during this period of the year, bass leave the shallow shorelines and zero in on key irregular features out from shore. Note that this pond has a dam at one end. Here the water is usually deeper. Position 1 are the corners of the dam, which are prime locations. The better corner is the one that has more cover, structure of some sort, and is closer to deeper water. Position 2 marks a spot where the main creek channel is dammed off, and it could be excellent. Good fishing might be experienced along the channel edges, or you may have to work back up the channel until you find the pattern depth. A point extends into the pond at position 3. This is not just a point, it's a creek channel point, the finest of all points. Here, fish can usually find a comfortable depth. At position 4, we have a secondary pointed point. Structure like this can be a highly productive form of real estate. Fish using a spot like this have the convenience of both shallow water for feeding and deeper water to drop off into if they somehow feel threatened. The channel junction at position number 5 is really worth fishing. Depth will be the critical factor here. There we go. Yo, baby. Yo. Ooh. Another pretty baby. Whoa, sister. Whoa, sister. Look at that baby pull that pole. That buster go, big old fat fish. Come here. Come up here. Come here. Oh. Woo. Nice. Man. See you, bud. Whether on a huge reservoir or a small lake or pond, bass in both have the same characteristics. They both move from shallow to deep water and vice versa. Their behavior is basically the same and are governed by the seasons, water clarity, and temperature. They both relate to cover, open water, and even structure the same in both shallow and deep water. Now, some anglers may cling to the myth that fish in smaller waters are somehow different than those in big reservoirs, but really it's just a myth. The big difference in fishing big or small waters is simply that in smaller waters, anglers can find the fish with less effort, regardless, large or small. It takes similar tactics to catch them. Keep in mind that bass may not always be on a particular type of structure, but they may use it from time to time. It's always smart, a real good idea, to keep going back to likely looking areas, even if you only make a few casts. I got something here. Oh, Bill, what have you got? That's the biggest fish I've had on today right there. Ooh, that's a big one. That is a big one, boys. You gotta be easy with him. Let me just touch you. Strip that line. Come here. Come here. Ooh, you sound big. 'Cause you are big. Ooh. I'll bet you that's the biggest bass it's ever been pulled into one of Johnny Marsh's little Pro 16 boats. Boogie bass. That is a bad bait. See you, sweetie. Ooh, pretty baby. As I said earlier, farm ponds are really small lakes, and they possess almost exactly the same characteristics as larger lakes and impoundments. But because they're smaller, the bass are usually easier to locate, and you can be sure they're great training grounds for learning more about the habits of bass. Hey, a great many anglers enjoyed their first taste of bass fishing in a little farm pond, and these many waters still produce some of the finest bass fishing in the country. Tell you what, try one and see if you don't agree. Until next time, catch one for me. We'll see you.
Now I've gone fishing with Bill Dance today.